Cowboys' reputation as the NFL's big play team of 1983, growing by leaps and bounds as the Cowboys host Tampa Bay. The pattern started in the season opener against the Redskins when the Cowboys overcame a 20-point deficit and continued the following week against the St. Louis Cardinals as rookie find Bill Bates helped bring his team back from 10 down with a key interception, one of an astonishing 5 scores that the Cowboys have registered strictly on returns in their first 5 games. The big play syndrome showed no signs of slowing down against the New York Giants. Another deficit, another turnover. This one courtesy of Dexter Klingscale. 5 times this season in as many games, Dallas has found itself behind on the scoreboard. Only battle matching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 0-5, against the Dallas Cowboys, who are 5-0. Game time temperature in the upper 70s. It is cloudy, and there is a threat of rain hanging in the air. Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Lieber, along with Dick Vermeil and Richard. I can't quite figure this one out. Either we got the potential for a rout here, or maybe a real con job, a setup job by the Buccaneers. I don't know. If you're Tom Landry, how do you get your team ready for a club that's 0-5?
Well, first, Tom Landry is coaching an experienced football team. They've been in the same situation themselves in the past. They've been beaten badly and come back and played real well the next week. And I think Tom is playing on that. Plus, he doesn't want them to ever take anybody for granted. And you can't take Tampa Bay for granted.
Now, in addition to being 0-5, Tampa Bay, of course, was humiliated last week by the Green Bay Packers, who scored 55 points against them. How does a team react to a beating like that?
Well, most pro football players, and especially true in Tampa, they have a tremendous pride level. And they're going to come back without the motivation of the coaches or anybody else because it's meaningful to them, and they were embarrassed. Plus, every place they go in Tampa, their wives are mad at them, the gas station attendant mad at them, the guy that sells them the groceries mad at them. And this alone stimulates this football player, and they'll probably play the best football they've played all year.
The Dallas Cowboys have won the toss of the coin. They have elected to receive, and Bill Capice will be kicking off for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Cowboys' deep man, Ron Fellows, who we spotlighted a moment ago, who's done such an outstanding job on the specialty teams. And as a part-time defensive back, he's the captain of the specialty squads, and teamed with him back there in the goal line is number 25, who is Rod Hill. The referee in the ball game is Bob McElwee. We're about ready to get underway. Capacity crowd on hand here at Texas Stadium, and many of them here because of the upcoming halftime ceremony, which will see Cowboy great Roger Staubach inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. The field is fairly dry after some heavy rainfall yesterday. This one coming down to Hill at the 8-yard line. Rod Hill back across the 15 and really wrapped at the 18-yard line by Thomas Morris, number 24. That set the Cowboys up offensively. Butch Johnson, one change in that starting lineup because of injuries to both Tony Hill and Doug Donnelly, though Donnelly may see some action. In the offensive line, another change for the Cowboys. Glenn Titensir will be starting at center, replacing Tom Rafferty. Came down with a bad case of turf toe last week against the Minnesota Vikings. Danny White, of course, at the throttle for the Cowboys, and despite Dallas' win-loss record, they haven't been that prominent statistically. Look at that interception total for White. He's had 5 of those 7 interceptions in the last 2 games. First and 10, Dallas ball from the 17-yard line. That's Drew Pearson in motion across the backfield. Tony Dorsett, the thrown right back. Dorsett at about the line of scrimmage, forward for a yard, maybe 2, and it'll be 2nd and 8. John Holt, number 21, coming up from the secondary to make the stop. Let's spotlight the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line. Leroy Selman, still called by many the best defensive end in all of pro football, anchors that front 3. The linebackers, Jeff Davis has got a bit of a problem, though he was scheduled to start. He has tonsillitis, and that kept him up a good portion of the night. And, of course, the great Hugh Green, one of the great outside linebackers in the NFL. And this is an area, the secondary, where the Buccaneers have been hit hard by injuries in addition to their offensive line. 2nd down, 9. Cowboys at their 18-yard line. Dorsett tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Maybe got one. John Cannon, number 78. And there's a man who's felt a lot of pressure. I know you've known Mr. McKay since what, back in the 60s you started coaching against each other?
Well, yes, actually when I was an assistant coach at Stanford, Frank, we coached against USC, and in fact I never experienced a win in coaching against this man until 1970 as an assistant at UCLA, then as a head coach at UCLA in '75. He's a great football coach.
Cannon came out of the ball game after that play, and looks like he possibly may have hurt his shoulder. So we'll see. 3rd down 8 for the Cowboys at the 20-yard line. From the shotgun, Danny White throwing for the first time this afternoon. Trying to scramble out of trouble. Sideline throw is complete and about the 30-yard line to Drew Pearson. He goes out of bounds at the 29. And that looks to be just enough for the first down. Jeremiah Castile, number 23 on the stop. He had a lot of time to float around back there.
Yes, they gave him far too much time, and it gave the receivers time to work downfield when they were covered initially. See, he wanted to throw right there. Now he's going to break off to his left, come out there. Now he's being chased by the defensive lineman. He lays it up to a receiver coming back. See him coming back toward the ball. 88, Drew Pearson.
We mentioned that Cannon was out a moment ago. He's been replaced by Booker Reese. Pearson is off to his best start since 1974. Had simply an outstanding year. Pitch to Dorsett. Tony is racked up with the line of scrimmage. Now the Buccaneers have never beaten the Cowboys. Ironically, all 5 of their meetings have been here at Texas Stadium. There's Cannon being worked on. The defensive lineman who was a number 3 pick last year out of William and Mary and who beat out Booker Reese and also David Stalls.
He's been playing well. I think what he did is pinched a nerve in his neck and shoulder in that area. It happens quite often, and it looked like he got kicked there as he made the play from the backside 2 plays ago.
Dorsett lost 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down 13. Tony Dorsett has carried 3 times for a total of -1. So it looks like the Buccaneer defense, which was ranked number 2 in the NFC a week ago, seems to be back in gear. Here's Dorsett up to about the 30-yard line. So he got the 3 back he lost in the previous play, maybe 1 more. And the nose tackle, David Logan, number 76, made the stop. Dorsett coming into this game with 500 yards rushing.
John McKay really feels that Dorsett is the difference between winning and losing and being undefeated in Dallas right now. He really has a tremendous respect for him.
What did he call him yesterday? The ultimate weapon?
The ultimate weapon.
Said he's the best running back in pro football, which brought up an interesting point because he had a chance to draft him and took Ricky Bell instead. 3rd down 9. Cowboys at their 30. Very still. No breeze at all here. Rather warm at Hillman. White scrambling, and it's intercepted. So the interception, which has cost the Cowboys this year, Mark Cotney, number 33, White being intercepted for the 8th time in the 1983 season. And Cotney, who just came back off the injury list, starts off in a big way.
Well, they're back in the shotgun. He has plenty of time. Again, coverage doing a super job. Now he's going to break off to his right. See that? Now he's going to, an experienced quarterback would more often than not attract that defender to him before he throws it. That was a bad mistake.
Tampa Bay to the offense for the very first time, and they come up with excellent field position at the Dallas Cowboy 34-yard line following the interception. Jack Thompson back to throw it, going for House, and he's got him at the 21. That should be good for the first down as he caught it in front of Everson Walls. Kevin House, who has been the big play guy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Kevin is isolated one-on-one on Everson Walls because Dallas plays an awful lot of man-to-man. See him sticking right there. Now he's going to come back for the ball. Single coverage, one-on-one. Tampa plans to attack that principle defensively.
Nose of the ball just outside the 20-yard line. Another interesting stat, the Buccaneers, believe it or not, have not scored a touchdown in the first quarter since 1981. That goes back 18 games. There's a mix-up. On the snap, flags go flying every place. Gives us a chance to look over the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense for you.
Offense.
It's against the Bucs. Thompson at quarterback. Wilder, who missed last week's game with rib injuries, is back. And Carter and House on the outside. The offensive line, and this is a
68
patchwork situation, so much so that they call it the patchwork orange with all the injuries they've had this year, trying to line up against a very tough Cowboy front 4. 5-yard penalty, moves it back to the 25-yard line. It'll be first down 15. Running room over the middle as the Buccaneers offensive line did a fine job that time. Open it up for James Owens, one of your former guys from UCLA. And we welcome those of you who've been watching the Detroit-Green Bay game as the Lions, who we saw last week against the Rams, put it on the Packers. So if you think there's no hope for Tampa Bay on their record, look at the Lions here. They lost 4 in a row. Thompson's pass overthrown on the near sideline, intended for James Owens. We're still early in our contest here at Texas Stadium with 10 minutes and 35 seconds to go. The Buccaneers have intercepted a pass on Dallas' very first possession, and coming up they have a 3rd and 11 at the 21-yard line of Dallas. Take a look at the Dallas Cowboys defensive alignment. All familiar names, although these front four will be spelled by a couple of young players who are doing very well for the Cowboys. Anthony Dickerson has been a big play linebacker, and the veteran Dallas secondary. 3rd down, 11. Tampa Bay from the Cowboy 21. Blitz was on, and it was Dexter Clinkscale, number 47, coming through untouched from the left side, and dropping Thompson for the loss back at the 30-yard line.
They used an overload rush, Frank, rushing more people than Tampa had to protect with. You can see the two guys coming up inside being picked up, but Clinkscale coming off to the right there was not picked up. And normally the only way you can block that extra man is by using a hot receiver principle, and you throw the ball away quickly.
Now, not only has Tampa Bay not scored a touchdown in the first quarter of any game since 1981, they have not scored a point this year. And Bill Capice is on to try what will be a 48-yard field goal.
He's 46% successful in his career from this distance.
That is long enough, and it is good. So Tampa Bay is on the scoreboard first, and the Buccaneers have scored in the first quarter for the very first time in 6 games this year, as they lead the Cowboys by a score of 3-0. Head coach Tom Landry of the Cowboys, and I don't care what you say, you got your work cut out for you when you try to get a team up for a club that's 0-5.
No question about it. You can talk to them and everything else, but I still think that Dallas is experienced enough. If they don't win today, it won't be because they're mentally down. It's because Tampa's good enough to beat them on this given Sunday.
Let's give you a rundown on some other finals around the National Football League. Saints very impressive in their victory today. Washington Redskins beating St. Louis. Minnesota over Tampa Bay, and or the Minnesota over Chicago, and Cleveland beating the Jets by a score of 10-7. And the Jets continue their very slow start. 3-0 Tampa Bay. So Dallas is up to its old tricks. No matter who it is, the Cowboys managed to get behind. They have now succeeded in doing that for the 6th straight game this year, and they've won the 5 previous. Capice kicking off. Rod Hill, or rather Fellows, fields it and downs it in the end zone. And we welcome those of you who watched the Minnesota Vikings beat the Chicago Bears this afternoon by a score of 23-14. You might be surprised to know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are leading the Cowboys 3-0. But we're only 5 minutes deep in this game. The Buccaneers with a field goal by this man, Bill Capice, set up by a pass interception by Mark Cockney on the Cowboys' very first possession. So it's Dallas ball, 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. Drew Pearson is wide to the right side at the bottom of your screen. Butch Johnson split to the left up at the top, leaving Tony Dorsett as the sole setback. Dorsett gets the call up to the 24-yard line. You'll notice Tony is still wearing that soft cast on his wrist to protect it. It was injured a couple of weeks ago, and he said it was a real awkward situation last week. You want to carry the ball in your right hand because that's natural to him, and he had to carry it in his left.
Well, it's bothering me. I actually read where he can feel the chips in his ankle and feel him float him around in there. Not his ankle, I mean his wrist.
2nd and 5. As far as Cannon is concerned, the defensive lineman for the Bucs, he may or may not be back with that pinch nerve. Danny White, Billy Joe Dupree at the 30, and enough for the first down at the 32-yard line. Hugh Green, number 53, there to make the stop. And let's see, we got a penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage. Preliminary indication is that the call will go against Dallas.
They just ran a little tight end delay. He sat there and blocked for a second or two, then released in front of the linebackers. Not many yards, but it is an efficient play. But this penalty will really hurt him right now.
Bob McElwee, the referee, marching off the yardage, and here's what it's for.
Holding, number 63, offense, 2nd down.
So the holding penalty on the Cowboys' Glenn Titanser, who is making the start at center, replacing Tom Rafferty today. That's Cannon, the defensive end, John Cannon, being tended to by the Bucs medical personnel after being shaken up on the 2nd play of the game. The penalty moves the Cowboys back to the 14. It is second down, 16 for Dallas. Dorsett behind Kurt Peterson's block. Gets outside and breaks it to about the 20 for a pickup of 6 on the play before Andy Hawkins, number 59, runs him out of bounds.
You don't see that full both guard pull type sweep much anymore. Dallas runs it in the long yardage situations, but that's about the only time I think we've seen it this year.
Looking at the Cowboy shuttle in operation. Herb Scott, number 68, coming in from the bench, and Tom Landry with the play. He alternates with Howard Richards. Third down passing situation. Dallas looking at 10 for the first as Dorsett comes out. And an extra wide receiver in for the Cowboys. That's going to be Ron Springs acting in that role. Shotgun. White over the middle. He's got Springs at the 50. Ron Springs, 20, 10, gone. On the throw from Danny White to Ron Springs. That is the longest pass play ever against the Buccaneers. They were burned for 75 last week against Green Bay.
Now, Ron Springs really doesn't beat anybody one-on-one in this situation. I really think it was a mental breakdown. Someone actually blew the coverage to turn him loose down the hole like that. There was confusion prior to the snap, a late substitution, and I think it broke down the coordination of the coverage.
He lined up in the left slot and was untouched going down the field. Here's Septien to try the extra point. Hasn't been a bad week for Springs. He signed a new 3-year, $700,000 contract earlier in the week.
I think it was one of those coverages where the guy comes off and says, I thought you had him. He said, no, I thought you had him.
So penalty marker down on the play. Let's see if it's against the Bucs.
12 men on the field against the defense. The point is good. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
9 minutes and 2 seconds left in the opening period. Ron Springs with an 80-yard touchdown reception. And we'll be back at Texas Stadium in just a moment. Frank Lieber with Dick Vermeil at Texas Stadium. There's the book on the Cowboys scoring drive. Danny White with the 80-yard throw to Ron Springs. Dallas leading 7-3. We've got 9:02 left in the quarter. And the Cowboys kicking off for the very first time. Raphael Septien will do the honors. And the Tampa Bay Bucks will have deep Michael Morton and James Owens. Morton, number 1 on the left of your screens. Owens, number 26 on the right. Septien pulls it out of the end. That's not bad.
Where did he get that one, huh? What did he have for breakfast?
He was pumped up. Not much question about that. Coming up Saturday, CBS Sports will be at Belmont Park in New York to bring you 2 excellent horse races with Thoroughbred Racing's 1983 Horse of the Year balloting still wide open. The 6 best older horses and 3-year-olds in training will run in the 65th Jockey Club Gold Cup. And also on the program, a late developing Horse of the Year possibility. The unbeaten colt Devil's Bag goes after a 4th straight win in the 112th running of the Champagne Stake for 2-year-olds. That's 4 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Jack Thompson comes out throwing a swing pass on the far side, and not much yardage over there for James Owens. Now with Wilder coming back, Dick, from rib injuries, seems they're going to Owens a little more. Maybe they feel that Wilder's not quite ready.
Well, it's just the formation that time, and I think what they're doing, like other people do to Dallas, they're going to throw the ball on those early rundowns when they're sitting back there in that flex defense to try to control the rush.
It'll be 2nd and 9 as Owens comes out of the game. Boyd Dowler along with McKay call the offensive plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they will shuttle in, sometimes running back, sometimes wide receivers. Thompson. Wilder taking the pitch and upended at the 22-yard line. Dexter Clinkscale, number 47, coming up from the secondary. Tom Landry told us this week that he thought that Wilder the best offensive player on this Tampa Bay football team.
He's been good. You know, he missed a game last week with the bruised ribs, and he's wearing a flak jacket today. But he's Missouri's all-time rusher, breaking Johnny Rowland's all-time record there at Missouri. So you know he's a quality player.
He's played with several of the Cowboys at Missouri. Bert Peterson was on that team. Bellows, Howard Richards, among others. Third down, 8. Wilder across the 25 to about the 28. Looks like he's going to be 2, maybe 3 yards short of the first.
I think Jack is laying the ball off too soon. He's not going to get the yards he needs laying it off that, because Dallas is too sure a tackling football team that they're going to be punting the ball too often. They've got to get that ball downfield first. Lay it off second.
So a punting situation for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Frank Garcia, number 5, is their kicker. An interesting story, as he was cut by no less than 5 NFL clubs and 1 USFL team before making the grade with Tampa Bay. Tampa cut him once.
That's not unusual. If you really study the league, most of these guys that are punting for a living have punted someplace else, or at least tried to.
Rod Hill, one of the top returners in the league. There's a flag as Hill makes the catch at the 20, 25, and no place to go. But a penalty marker thrown at about the 40-yard line. Sandy LeBeau, number 29, was down there quickly, covering for the Buccaneers. Let's see what the flag was all about. Next up for the Cowboys will be your old team, the Philadelphia Eagles, here next week, and then they face the Los Angeles Raiders. 2 tough teams to face back-to-back. And Tampa Bay going home for a couple of weeks. I'm sure they're happy about that. Maybe they're not. When you're 0-5.
When you play like you did last week, you don't want to go home and play in front of your home fans, because it's demoralizing. A little debate going on the field down there. What was it?
It's like a legal block. Legal use of hands against Dallas.
That's a normal way to start out a game, isn't it?
That 80-yard touchdown pass by Danny White, by the way, to Springs was the longest touchdown pass of White's career, in addition to being the longest ever against Tampa Bay. The team normally doesn't get beat long. They play that zone so much.
They do. But it was a broken coverage. They didn't beat anybody one-on-one. It was just a mental breakdown, and might have been caused by the late substitution.
Holding number 22 on the receiving team. Illegal block above the waist. Number 32 on the receiving team. Both fouls, post-possession. First down.
32 is Dennis Thurman. Cowboys don't have a 22, but nevertheless, the penalties against them. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their 9 in just a moment.
The Honda Accord LX 4-door sedan. It comes with a long list of standard equipment. Cruise control, air conditioning, a sophisticated stereo, a lighted mirror, power door locks and windows. The Accord LX has everything. Almost. The yacht is optional.
These sheep produce some of the world's finest wool. Wool for luxurious fabrics used by the internationally known maker of menswear, Hager. For fine-fitting slacks and sport coats like these from Imperial by Hager, rich pure wools have been selected. Why does Hager choose fabrics of this quality? Because Hager wants you to look and feel your best.
Welcome back to Texas Stadium. 7 minutes, 22 seconds left to play in the opening period. The Cowboys leading the Buccaneers 7-3, and Dallas backed up as a result of that walk-off a moment ago. Cowboys have a 1st and 10 at their 9-yard line as they start this series. Danny White slips the ball to Springs, trying to get outside. Reaches the 11, picks up 2 on the play. Let's bring you up to date. Other scores around the National Football League on the 6th weekend of 1983. Buffalo and Miami are in overtime. Looks like a track meet.
35-35.
Is that something? As Miami started Dan Marino today. Minnesota leading, well, that's a final now over Chicago. Detroit topped Green Bay, of course.
There's an example of what we're talking about coming in today's game.
Exactly.
Green Bay had the great win last last week. They're getting beat today.
And Baltimore leading New England. Now it's still going 10-7. The Colts, one of the major surprises in the NFL. Our score, 7-3 Dallas. Dorsett hit at the line of scrimmage, bounces off a tackler, but then is drilled back on about the 8-yard line on a good solid tackle by Jeff Davis, tonsillitis and all. Didn't seem to bother him that much. First-year starter from Clemson, where he was one of the anchors of that national championship team a couple of years ago. Wasn't drafted high because of his height.
Right. You know, he averaged 13 tackles a game playing for that national championship football team, so he's a quality football player.
Third down, Dallas needing 9 for the first down. Cowboy offense, with the exception of the one play to Springs, has been very sluggish here in the opening period. Same could be said for Tampa Bay's, but the Buccaneers defense playing strong. White out of the shotgun on 3rd and 9. Protection is good, goes over the middle, has the first down. Butch Johnson at the 25-yard line makes the reception. It is 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Butch, one of the forgotten guys this year.
Yes, but he found the hole in the zone. It was a zone coverage. He had plenty of time. You can see you have 3 linemen blocking one. He got it there in the space. Here he is right now in the zone in front of the defensive back, Cedric Brown.
So the Cowboys work out from the hole and have a first down now at the 27-yard line after a 18-yard pickup on the pass from White to Butch Johnson. Johnson is left, Drew Pearson is right. From the 27, White after Johnson, driving for the first down and run out of bounds at the 36. Looks to be about a yard short.
Butch Johnson's really excited about being able to play. Last week was his first start in a number of years, and he's really excited about being able to play. And he's had good games against Tampa in the past.
That's his second reception of the day. He caught 3 against the Vikings last week, filling in, as we said, for Tony Hill, who is out of action for yet another week, and Doug Donnelly, who still has an injury problem. And it was questionable whether or not Doug would see some action.
Well, he has that bad hand. You know, the skin scraped off his hand. The ball hurts when he tries to catch it. His hands are good.
Second down, 2 for the first down. Double tight end setup this time. It springs up the middle. Roars through for the first down at the 41-yard line. Booker Reese making the stop, along with David Logan, number 76 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks went from 2nd to 13th in NFC defense after last week's game. Of course, they do that on yardage, basically, don't they?
Yeah,
one
they
bad
do.
game, and it can really throw the stats out of kilter.
It totally distorts the stats, and it'll take them a while to regain the level that they were playing with. At least statistically, you know, they're going to have some great games back to back.
You see there how far down they are, down the line in the NFC. Wasn't the case a week ago, but 55 points and about 500 yards for the opposition in one day will do that to you. Cosby in motion. Dorsett rides outside, no place to go, and he is driven out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Really putting the shoulder to him. That time was Jeff Davis, number 58.
This play breaks down because Andy Hawkins, number 59, forces it the play to move parallel, move right along the line of scrimmage. He can't find a place to turn up. The defense, see 59 right there coming at the screen? Dorsett couldn't find a place to turn up, and he better be careful relaxing too soon coming to the sideline. He's really going to get drilled.
2nd and 8. I think he got Dorsett's attention, if nothing else.
Yes, he did. He tapped him one. Dorsett is a great protector when he runs. He doesn't really sacrifice his body. He finds a spot to get down when it isn't there.
He's had a couple of 100-yard rushing days against Tampa Bay, but for the most part, they've held him in check. White, sideline throw almost picked off. Intended for Doug Cosby. And Mark Cockney was about to get his second interception. Slaps himself on the side of the helmet, said, gee, would have been nice to have that one.
That would have been 6 points. He was taking his time back here. You can see the lineman, Kurt Peterson, number 65, protecting right there. He's waiting, and now he throws late to the outside, which you really got to be careful doing it. See him come in right there? If he'd have picked that off, it'd have been 6 points for him.
Cockney is one of 2 players on the Bucks who were original Buccaneers off the allocation draft when this team started.
They missed him, you know, the last week and the week prior to that because he wasn't able to play.
3rd and 9. Dallas ball at its 43-yard line, leading 7-3. Still first quarter action. White still going, and finally torn down at the 35. I believe he had ample time.
Again, good coverage this time by Tampa. He couldn't find the person open in the zones down there. The zones collapsed on the receivers. He couldn't find the guy. Therefore, the rush gets to him.
It was Booker Reese, number 66, who finally got to him.
You can see Dave Stahl's coming in there. There's good protection right now. Now it's starting to break down. He starts to scramble. He has a good feel for where the rush is coming from. Now he's out of it right there. Look at him. Down he goes. At least that time he didn't throw the ball downfield and get it picked off like he did early in the game.
Punting situation for the Cowboys, and John Warren, the rookie from Tennessee, ready to kick. Andre Tyler is deep for the Buccaneers.
Nice punt.
Nice hang time. Fair catch signaled by Tyler at the 17. And the Buccaneers will put it in play. Warren doing an excellent job of hanging it up there. 3:39 left to play in the opening period. 7-3, Dallas.
Here you go, Leo, a nice bowl of Campbell's soup.
Oh, thanks, Claire.
You know, I missed you last week.
Yeah, well, I've been putting in a little overtime.
At least you're taking care of yourself.
Huh?
Soup, Leo. This article in Reader's Digest says that soup's one of the most nourishing foods you can eat. Why, this Campbell's chicken noodle is just right for a big, strapping guy like yourself.
You know, Claire, it's nice to know that someone's looking out for me.
You noticed.
Campbell's soup is good food.
This is a TRS-80 Model 4 family.
We bought Radio Shack's TRS-80 Model 4 and saved $200. It has a huge library of educational programs.
And lots of games.
I do my personal and household budgeting on it. You can't believe the money we're saving.
I'm even teaching myself to program. And the Model 4 is expandable at Radio Shack's low prices. Best of all, it's on sale now.
The TRS-80 Model 4, now only $7.99, only at Radio Shack.
1st and 10 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at their 17-yard line. There's the man known as the throwing Samoan, Jack Thompson. The Buccaneers gave a #1 draft pick to Cincinnati this year. Owens across the 20 as we get a marker dropped.
It looks like they called offensive holding.
By the way, Tampa Bay fans may be interested or maybe not interested in knowing that Doug Williams is in the stands today. He hasn't had many nice things to say about his former teammates, and you wonder a little bit.
Well, that's disappointing. I thought he was more of a pro, you know, as a quarterback and a person than to make the comments that he's made. But, you know, as a coach, and I think other people, many times you really sometimes are let down by the great athlete like he is. You know, it's disappointing. Because I know they offered him an awful lot of money, maybe more than he's really worth, but that's all determined by the eyes of the evaluator, Frank, nowadays.
Offense, 1st down.
The holding penalty against Dave Revis, the veteran offensive lineman of the Buccaneers. Other scores, Denver-Houston is now final, and the Oilers still haven't won a game since before the strike last year. Kansas City leading the Raiders in the 1st quarter, that's a surprise. And the Giants over the Eagles by a margin of a field goal. Owens trying to find some running room up the middle, gets across the 10 to the 11-yard line. And Ed Jones, number 72, corrals him at that point. As we said, Owens is one of your old UCLA guys.
He played for me at UCLA as a freshman. We tried to make a wide receiver out of him because he has great speed. One of 2 former Olympians playing football in the National Football League. NCAA 110 high hurdle champion. He's a great runner. Super young man. Just a great person.
The other Olympian, of course, is Lamb Jones with the Jets. 2nd down, 16. Buccaneers from their 10-yard line. Thompson in trouble, floats it out. He's got Giles. Giles is going to go unless Downs can catch him. Michael Downs stops him at the 6-yard line. But Jimmy Giles, probably the fastest tight end in the National Football League, did that to the Cowboys last year in the regular season game.
Well, he has, the last couple of years, Frank, been the best deep receiver coming out of the tight end position in football. He's isolated now, man-to-man on Clinkscale. See in the right corner of your screen? Now you're going to catch it right there. There he is, right there. Michael Downs, isolated man-to-man on the free safety, and that size and speed, that's a mismatch.
The Buccaneers are at the 9-yard line, have a 1st down goal to go, and Giles will get a blow for a moment. He's had some good games against the Cowboys. Giles, of course, showed up late this year after a holdout situation. Cowboy fans now imploring their defense to hold the Buccaneers. Thompson. Owens. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. So the Buccaneers have ended the long drought and have scored a touchdown in the first quarter for the first time since December of 1981 and come back to take the lead over the Cowboys. This does not look like an 0-5 team the way they're celebrating.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, that's the emotional side of the game. They're keyed up. They want to play well. Their pride was damaged last week. And prior to last week, they hadn't been playing well enough to win. They get their first touchdown in the first quarter in a long time.
A long time. 1981 to be precise.
That's hard to believe. You're going to see here they're all in man-to-man coverage, and he's isolated out there one-on-one. See that? All by himself out there. An inside coverage man having to cover him inside out. That's tough.
Capice with the extra point try. The kick is good. Makes it a 10-7 game. We've got another angle of that touchdown catch from ground level.
We're right down here. You can see the linebacker that would normally cover the running back out of the backfield. 51 was not covering him. He was being covered by Michael Downs, number 26, from his safety position, and he couldn't get there. And that's tough on a safety because the running back only had a few yards to go to score.
Seguin, Texas, and Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Seguin means barbecue at its biggest and best. And Milwaukee means beer. Cold, crisp, old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden, old Milwaukee Light.
And old Milwaukee.
And old Milwaukee Light.
Tastes as great as their name.
You know, it doesn't get any better than this.
Introducing the switchable Sony, which at the hit of a switch
Play video games. Switch again.
and get regular TV. It's 2 sets in one.
It's built for home computers and games, but not built like a toy.
Because it's a Trinitron. And no matter which switch, you always get that one-of-a-kind Trinitron picture.
Whether it's Annihilators
Or commentators. The switchable Sony for
game time
and showtime.
Monday.
We're getting married.
That's asking too much.
Scarecrow and Mrs. King tie the knot to stop a dangerous gang of gun runners.
Nothing bad ever happens in the suburbs.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have pulled ahead of the Cowboys for the second time. The key play in that drive, of course, the 80-yard pass to Jimmy Giles. And there's the man who scored the touchdown, James Owens.
Come on, James. Say hi, Mom. His mom really cooks the great spare ribs. When I was recruiting them all, I'd go there just to eat those spare ribs.
You spent a little time at his house, did you?
Spent a little time. Almost lived there.
He said he hit out from you in the shower one time.
Yeah, he did. He was going to go someplace else, though. You want to tell me that.
Fellows at the goal line, runs it out to the 10, hit at the 15. One of the smallest players on the field, Michael Morton, number 1, makes the stop. He's no bigger than a minute. Morton is 5'8".
That's a kick, Frank. He's 5'8". They've got 260-pounders. We're going to get another chance to take a look at the long pass to Giles. As we said, this guy is the leading deep receiver from the tight end position. Number 1, the quarterback had time to allow Giles to work one-on-one on downs. There he goes. Look at that big man, 240 pounds run.
Now, from a defensive standpoint, why wouldn't he dive earlier?
I don't know. He was probably just trying to get close enough to make sure he didn't miss it.
There's Jim Giles.
He is a happy man.
Remnant of that trade with the Oilers. Of course, it brought Houston Earl Campbell. First and 10 Cowboys from the 15-yard line. Danny White. Sideline throw to Ron Springs, who was dragged out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Hugh Green, number 53, on the stop. Another game just underway. Seattle leading San Diego out of the West Coast 7-0. It's another disappointing team this year. The Chargers, along with the Jets. You got to wonder about it.
It's still early in the season to evaluate how they're going to be. You know,
John McKay, really, I guess more than anyone else, wasn't he responsible for the development of the I formation?
We all felt he was, you know, on the coast of California. Maybe somebody back here in the Midwest and the East Coast would say somebody else did, but California people gave John McKay credit for developing the I formation.
Second down, 5 from the 20-yard line. Flag down as Springs hits the middle of the line and gets just a yard or so. Bob McElwee, the referee, will get in on the middle of that and decipher what's going on. Tampa Bay, of course, has played the Cowboys in the playoffs here at Texas Stadium each of the last 2 years. First time they were beaten 38-0, but last year they actually led Dallas 17-16 going into the last quarter. And in the regular season game, Dallas won at 14-9, and the Buccaneers were inside the Dallas 10 5 times and never scored a touchdown.
Yeah, they should have beaten them, but they didn't. And the only thing that counts in football is what you do. The could-haves and the should-haves don't count.
Number 63, offense, second down.
Well, it appears that Glenn Titensur is getting his baptism as a Cowboys center. That's the second time they have flagged him on holding. He's again replacing Tom Rafferty, who Tom Landry told us would be available for snapping the ball. He is the Cowboys' long snapper, in addition to being their starting center. But because of that turf toe, Titensur, who played the second half against Minnesota last week, is getting the starting call. Second down, 15. Cowboys ball back at their 10. Fake to Dorsett. White from the goal line tries to set up the screen. Goes to Springs. He got about back to the line of scrimmage at best.
Great play by Dave Logan, the nose guard, coming inside out along the line of scrimmage to make that play, Frank. That guy can really motor.
Now, he's been around for a while, too.
He's been a starter a number of years for him, and he was fourth in tackling last year. Only fourth in terms of the linebackers were 1, 2, and 3. So he was the leading defensive lineman in tackling. Good football player.
Dave Logan is one of 6 12th-round draft picks on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster.
Both nose guards are 12th-round draft choices.
That is interesting. Third down, 16. Cowboys at their 10-yard line. Butch Johnson to the right, Drew Pearson to the left. We're under 1 minute to play in the opening period. White flags all over the place as Danny White is caught at the 7-yard line. And if it's against the Cowboys, and it looks like it will be, another holding call, I'm sure Tampa Bay will decline and force the Cowboys to punt out of their end zone. Good rush by David Stalls, the ex-Cowboy.
Number 67, offense, penalty is declined, 4th down.
Rodgers back again in the shotgun, and that usually gives him enough time to get the ball off. Line's doing a good job right there. The guy comes around from behind. He can't get that. Was Selman coming around there. Now he's in the grass. He is sacked. Number 76 getting near David Logan.
Warren will be punting from 8 yards deep in the end zone, so the Buccaneers ought to come out of this in good field position. Andre Tyler will be the return man. He's standing on his 50. Bucks were coming hard. Warren gets it away. Good hang time. Fair catch. Tyler at the Dallas 42. So the Buccaneers will have a 1st and 10 at the Dallas Cowboy 42 when we return to Texas Stadium right after this.
Comparing a foam shave with an Edge gel shave made real news. Now we're making news again with new Skin Conditioning Edge with lanolin. Most men agree. Our newest gel lets you shave closer than the leading foam. Better still, it conditions your skin, so it feels smoother.
Discover new Skin Conditioning Edge with lanolin and discover a closer, more comfortable shave.
The 1984 Olympics. We know you've been getting ready for them, but there is something that will give you that extra edge. Huh? Go to the post office, sign up for your free Olympic kit. You'll receive a giant collecting poster or album to save all 24 exciting Olympic stamps and all through the year newsletters with updates and highlights for free. Wow! So sign up today and be up on the competition.
Frank Lieber along with Dick Vermeil. Capacity crowd on hand at Texas Stadium. Right now, Tampa Bay leading Dallas 10-7, and the Bucks in excellent position after the punt by Warren with a 1st down at the Dallas 42. Owens and Wilder are the setbacks. They've been going for the most part with Owens, but that time the handoff went to James Wilder. And Wilder stopped after a pickup of a yard. There is one of the real rocks on that Tampa Bay defense, linebacker Scott Brantley.
Took over the starting position last year from Richard Wood, a good football player out of college, not drafted as high as he would have been, probably would have been a 1st-round pick, but he was injured his senior year, had a serious head injury, and a lot of people said he would never play again.
Clock is run down. There's the gun indicating the end of the first period with the Bucs leading the Cowboys 10-7.
In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell started a communications revolution.
Watson, come here. I want you. Watson.
Watson and Watson.
Today, there's a new revolution from AT&T Information Systems.
Glad you could join us, Mr. Watson.
We still on for lunch, Watson?
Goodbye for now, Watson.
AT&T Information Systems.
Coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Honda, makers of the new car, the Civic CRX. Radio Shack, the computer experts with over 6,500 locations nationwide. And by Hagar slacks and sport coats that make you look and feel your best.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a 2nd and 8 upcoming as we start the second period of play at Texas Stadium. They're at the Dallas Cowboys 40-yard line, leading by a score of 10-7. One running back. And that's Wilder, their leading receiver. Bad pass from Thompson. And it'll be 3rd and 8. Jury is still out on Thompson. I think talking to John McKay yesterday that he's a little disappointed in the performance of his quarterback so far, although he's been under a lot of pressure because of the image of Doug Williams, the shadow of Williams.
Well, really, you know, Jack was drafted as a first-round pick in Cincinnati in 1979, but he really hasn't been a football player. He hasn't played a lot of football. He played a half a season with Cincinnati, and I think he has the talent to be a real good one, but really he's playing with almost a rookie out there.
In 79, he was the 3rd player selected in the draft by Cincinnati behind Tom Kusinoff and Mike Bell. 3rd and 8 from the 40. Thompson under pressure gets it away. He overthrew Gerald Carter, who was the intended receiver, or certainly one of them, but having a shot at the ball was Theo Bell, who was breaking behind on the play. So punting situation for the Buccaneers.
He was under a lot of pressure that time. If he'd held the ball one more second, he'd have been sacked back there because Randy White was breathing down his back.
Garcia, who beat out the veteran Larry Swider for the punting job.
He's dropped 5 inside the 20, meaning they didn't go out of bounds or in the back of the end zone, so he has that ability. Let's see what he does.
He's looking at the far side coffin corner. Rod Hill is back protecting.
No, he missed.
They rule it a touchback.
He missed.
So the Cowboys will get the ball at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Still in the first minute of play in quarter number 2 in Irving. There's a look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bench as the Bucs defense is on the field right now. The offense getting their marching orders on the sidelines. The Cowboys are the 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. Breaking a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Dorsett gets out to the 25 for a pickup of 5 yards on the play. Now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
The Eagles have taken the lead on the Giants. Ron Jaworski to his emerging favorite target, Mike Quick from 5 yards out. It's now 7-3 Eagles. Let's go back to Frank Lieber.
And keep in mind, Brent, that the Eagles will be taking on these Cowboys in a game that will be viewed by Mr. Vermeil, I'm sure, with more than passing interest. Next week, the first of 2 meetings between those clubs. 2nd down, 5. We'll have it for you on CBS as part of our doubleheader. Dorsett up to the 28-yard line. Set up a 3rd down and 2. Neither team ran well in the opening period. The Cowboys had 20 yards rushing, and the Buccaneers, who have been simply awful running the football this year, managed to get only 10 yards. Dorsett has already carried 10 times. They've held him to 22 yards and doing a good job defensively.
That front 7 and the defense is playing real well. Those defensive ends, maybe we'll be able to show the fans a little later on that they're sitting back off the ball and reading, and they're really intense in their play right now.
Short yardage situation, so the Cowboys go with a pair of tight ends, and the pitch goes to Dorsett. Trying to pick up the first. That looks like he's got it at the 31-yard line. Now you say when they line up off the ball, the Tampa Bay defensive ends, anything like the Cowboy flex? Well, let's see. Dorsett looks like he's shaking up. That's right. Boy, he looks like he really took a shot.
Looks like he's been knocked out.
He was popped pretty good after he picked up the 1st down at the 30-yard line. So Tony Dorsett, who John McKay told us yesterday, as far as he was concerned, he was the ultimate weapon, the best running back in the National Football League, bar one, is shaken up. Let's see if we can pick it up here.
He's really turning upfield right now. Now watch him going into the crowd. He comes now. Watch him drop the shoulder, and the helmet goes down right there. He got stuck pretty good coming in. It looks like helmet to helmet. Maybe he just got knocked dizzy.
Dorsett is sitting, about to get up, hopefully for Cowboy fans. We've got a timeout.
For the first time in his life, he's struggling, having a hard time in math. He needs help. He can get that help with the home computer from Texas Instruments. It has more educational cartridges than any other computer. They challenge, encourage, make learning fun. The home computer from Texas Instruments. It can give your child a head start in school that could last a lifetime.
Tony Dorsett is on the bench, and that's Dr. Marvin Knight in the Cowboy hat, the Dallas team physician, looking him over. Looks more or less like he had his bell rung. And Timmy Newsome has come in at the tailback slot. 1st and 10, Dallas ball at its 30-yard line. Newsome, 6'2", 230, and he can run. Out to about the 35-yard line. Andy Hawkins, number 59, making the stop. As we bring you up to date on other scores around the National Football League. This one should just about be over. Baltimore leading New England in the 4th quarter. Rams and San Francisco are underway on the West Coast and were scoreless in the opening period. And Kansas City still leading the Raiders in the 2nd quarter by a margin of a touchdown. Our score, and this may surprise you if you've joined us late, Tampa Bay 10, Dallas 7 with 12:20 left in the first half. Cowboys have a 2nd down, 6 upcoming. Ball is at the Dallas 35. Doug Cosby in motion. Big rush on Danny White, and he is dragged down behind the line of scrimmage by the nose tackle, David Logan, number 76. Did he blow through there?
I don't know. They must have had a kind of protection where a guard was coming out. Coming from the end zone now, we'll take a look and see if we can't detect what went wrong. Logan's on the center's nose. See him coming around there, right there? Yes, I see what happened. Timmy Newsome going through the line of scrimmage, trying to sneak into the pass pattern, pushed Kurt Peterson, and Kurt Peterson, the offensive right guard, couldn't get back to help on the nose guard to help pick him up, and therefore he came in clean. That happens every once in a while.
3rd down, 15 for the Cowboys. That's the 3rd time that White has been sacked. White stepping up into the pocket, trying to run it out. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Look at this Tampa Bay defense. Are they fired up? Again, it was Logan in on the stop.
You can see that they have a lot of pride, and they're playing intense football right now. And really what they're doing is they're playing up to their ability. This is how they're paid to play every week. You can see the offensive line now. There's running a stunt in there. Kurt Peterson, number 65, comes over to pick him up, but he butts him with his helmet, and that's a mistake. The defender gets too close to you that way, and he'll jump by you.
Andre Tyler is deep, and Warren will be punting for the Cowboys, standing on his 10. Another fine kick. Oh, he hangs it up there forever. Tyler back at the 20. 25, got some running room. Slides to a halt at the 32-yard line. Tampa Bay's ball, 1st and 10. Bucs will be at the 32. Timeout here at Texas Stadium. 54 yards on the punt.
From Pontiac comes the one-of-a-kind 84 Firebird Trans Am. You can order it with aerodynamic ground effects, a high-output 5-liter V8, high-tech turbo wheels, and a close ratio 5-speed. And knowing you probably will. Trans Am, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement, Pontiac.
Frank Lieber with Dick Vermeil at Texas Stadium. Tampa's ball, 1st and 10. Bucs have it at their 31-yard line. Jack Thompson at this point, 5 out of 8 for 109. 80 of those in one throw to Jimmy Giles to set up the Buccaneers' only touchdown. Running room up the middle there for Owens, who gets it out to about the 35-yard line. Well, let's correct that. It's 28 instead of 26, and that would be Carver, who just came into the game for the Tampa Bay Bucks. There's Bob Brunig, who leads the Cowboys in tackle, but in Tom Landry's scheme of things, the middle linebacker always leads the team in tackle.
He has to, because of the discipline of the defense. Those defensive linemen aren't free to run. They fill their responsibilities and then late break from the responsibility to make the tackle. They expect the middle linebacker to get there first.
And he does, as indicated by the statistics. Second down, 7. Thompson at the deep drop, floats it down for Carter. Intercepted. Everson Walls tackled at the 28-yard line. He must have had eyes in the back of his head.
He has that uncanny sense and awareness. That's his 3rd pass interception of the year. Now it was a play-action pass, and Everson was up playing him real tight. Now watch the play action. The linemen are going to show run on this side. See him make the fake right there. Now he's back. He's going to lay it up deep. Now let it go hard. Now you're going to see Everson running right up behind him. Now watch. See him running right up behind him right there? That guy has eyes in the back of that helmet.
Looks that way. That's his 3rd interception of the year. That's 2 off the league lead. We've got a timeout. Cowboys will have the ball at their 28.
Pontiac. Like a burst from the sun, 2000 Sunbird has arrived. Pontiac's overhead cam 5-speed performer. 2000 Sunbird, easy to own, fun to drive. 2000 Sunbird, Pontiac excitement precisely the way you like it. 2000 Sunbird, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
Good luck, son. Make us proud. Forward!
Bye, Mom, all right!
This year, 2 million families will send their kids off to college. But many of these kids won't be able to compete because they lack computer skills. A home computer can help. The Commodore 64 gives you more computer for less money than anyone else. Instead of saving for your kids' education, maybe you should spend a little for it.
Wednesday, the Whiz Kids don't know it, but they've helped a convict escape. And now reporter Max Gale is caught between some really bad criminals and
$1 million.
It's Whiz Kids Wednesday.
First and 10, Cowboys ball at their 28-yard line. Crowd getting a little impatient so far. Cowboys have trailed twice in this game at 3-0, and now at 10-7. Dorsett has come back into the game. Tony had his bell rung on the last series, got the cobwebs out in a hurry and carried to the 31-yard line.
He's used to getting belted around, being a running back the number of years as he's been running the football in this league.
We talked about the defensive line, the way they play here, Dick.
You can see in the left part of your screen that defensive lineman in a three-point stance, Leroy Selman, out right next to the linebacker. He's back off the ball so he can read what's happening. It's much harder to hook him. Now you can see Dorsett going to cut back up inside. That's what he does so well. He finds the opening when there's the opening or the point of attack is clogged.
Second down, 7. Dallas ball from the 32. White to throw. Dorsett, 30. Up to the 35, and then swarmed under by the orange jerseys.
I'll tell you right now, if they were going to vote for the defensive game ball at the end of the first quarter into the second quarter, you'd have to say Dave Logan, Tampa nose guard, is all over the field. He was in on that tackle, which is a pass downfield.
Of course, he's been doing a number, has he not, on Glenn Titan, sir, the young Cowboy player starting at center for Rafferty?
Well, that's tough. You know, you're starting for your first time in your real pro career, getting an opportunity to play, and then you have to play on a quality type guy like Dave Logan.
A couple of last-second defensive changes by the Buccaneers on this 3rd and 4. Dallas in the shotgun, trying to move from its 35. Buccaneers fake blitz, didn't come, pass complete. Butch Johnson with his 3rd reception of the afternoon. First down, Dallas at the 42-yard line. Jeremiah Castile, number 23, the rookie from Alabama, made the stop on the Cowboy wide receiver.
That Jeremiah had 3 pass interceptions in Coach Bryant's last football game.
That's something to remember. This is now a final. Joe Danello hit a 36-yard field goal to win it for Buffalo, beating Miami with a minute left in the overtime period.
That's
Baltimore,
a big win for K-State.
Really is. Baltimore, of course, still doing well. Check some of the other scores. Seattle off to a quick start. Dorsett out to the 47-yard line. Did you notice the footwork that time?
Unbelievable balance and control, and he always has control of his body. He gets something out of nothing, and I think that's what Coach McKay was talking about yesterday, Frank. Here's a good ground view now. Watch, the linemen are pulling out there. See him right there? Springs gets a nice block for him. That's got him upfield. Now he's coming inside out again. Always has his feet moving, has good awareness, gets down before he gets that direct shot.
Dallas 2nd and 5. Ball is at the 46-yard line. Cowboys enter the field. Clock moving with 7:15 left to play in the first half. White, sideline throw for Cosby. And we've got a flag down thrown at the center of the field. Cosby made the catch at about the first down marker at the 49. And of course, since he started the season off so great, Cosby's getting all kinds of attention.
Offensive pass interference.
Now that'll wipe out the game, and obviously will move the Cowboys back. Said Tampa Bay's home the next couple of weeks against St. Louis next Sunday, and then against New Orleans. Interesting that the Bucs won. In fact, they were the only NFL team to win all 4 of their preseason games.
That's why you can't base too much on the success of preseason. That doesn't mean they're not a good football team.
Number 20, offense. 2nd down.
Ron Springs, the Cowboy running back, guilty of offensive pass interference. The walk-off will move it back to the 36-yard line. It will be 2nd down, 15 for Dallas from that point.
That doesn't mean they're not a good football team. Sometimes it means that you're playing more starters at a longer period of time during the preseason and that kind of thing, and trying to build confidence. But it doesn't always mean you're going to be good or bad.
But the fans are misled, aren't they?
Sometimes the coach are misled.
Little hit shot to Drew Pearson at the 40, 45, and Pearson is dropped at the 48-yard line. John Holt, number 21, making the stop, along with Jeff Davis, number 58.
Drew is going to go down and just catch this ball quick now. Cosby is the key to the play now. Watch him come to the left side of your screen. Now, watch the left side of the screen. He's going to get a block kicking out right there. See him kick out? There it is. That gives you the extra yards, enables you to make that first down. Or get close to it, Frank.
Well, Drew told us this week one reason he's getting that more balls thrown in his direction this year is because of Cosby, and the double coverage are giving Cosby is such a great target. He loves it, quite obviously. 3rd down and 3. Cowboys need that for the first down as they operate from their 48. Springs in motion. White looking downfield. Good protection. Finally drops the pass off Newsome. That looked like a shot put. That'll never do. They say, I believe, that Newsome trapped it. Let's see if they bring it back to the original line of scrimmage. Had Newsome caught it, he still might have been short of the first down. He was right at the marker.
The pattern was a design delay pattern to the end receiver on the line of scrimmage, and for some reason, Danny didn't go to him. He was wide open.
4th down, pass is ruled a trap, and Warren will be punting. He's done a good job this afternoon. Look at those numbers. An excellent hang time. Andre Tyler is the deep man, number 81. Buccaneers leading 10-7. Midway in the 2nd period. Tyler at the 15. Upended at that mark. Running down quickly for the Cowboys was Rod Hill, number 25, to make the stop. 6 minutes, 1 second left to play in the first half. We'll be back in just a moment.
Would you adopt a child who is handicapped? It takes a lot of patience, a lot of guts. I'm Steve Wilson of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'd like for you to meet some people who are doing something pretty remarkable, finding permanent homes for handicapped children. It's a United Way agency, and they place kids that other adoption agencies just can't find homes for. A lot of parents who have already adopted a child with special needs also volunteer to come in and talk with the parents who are considering adoption. It made me think, what would I do in their place? These kids and their parents, they're really amazing. This is a unique service here in the Tampa Bay area, but it's typical of the way the United Way works. Thanks to them, and thanks to you. It works for all of us, the United Way.
preceding message was brought to you by the National Football League. 1st and 10, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucs have the ball and the lead at their 16-yard line. 10-7. Last year was number 3 receiver in the entire National Football League. Got 53 balls in only 9 games. Rushing, it hasn't happened for him or any of the Bucs this year. They have rushed as a team for just over 300 yards in 5 games.
Well, they're missing those 2 #1 draft choices that normally play the left and right guard position.
Starting 2 young linemen. They haven't had their offensive line together all year. Get right down to it. 2nd down, 11. Owens, flag down. He'll go. He went out of bounds at the 33, but it's going to be against Tampa, and will wipe out most of that game.
I think they call clipping on the offense.
Talking about that Buccaneers offensive line, they have been intact for 47 seconds this year. The first play of regular season. On the second play, I think it was Revis went down with an injury. And that's the day that William Gay had such a big day with 5.5 sacks for the Detroit Lions as they shut out the Bucs.
Well, they missed Snell, you know, their #1 draft choice.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 89. Offense. 2nd down.
It's against the wide receiver, Kevin House. One of the leading long ball threats in the NFL 2 years ago. Had a modest year last year.
Well, they were upset. McKay was really upset at that call. But he said, oh, heck.
That's not what he said. 2nd down, 13. Wilder coming back inside. Nice cut. Fumbles the ball. Dallas has recovered. The 22. Dennis Thurman, number 32. Okay. Cowboys don't have the fanciest stats in the world, but when they get turnover after turnover, that can make up for a lot of stats.
I think we're going to be able to show you why he fumbled the football. He had the ball in his left hand. Now see it in his left hand. Now watch it. And he's using it to balance. See it out there in front? Now it's going to be out there. Now look at where that ball is. No way. He's got to have that ball in against his body.
It was Harvey Martin, number 79, who grabbed hold of his arm, ripped the ball free, and then Thurman who recovered the fumble. And the Cowboys have a 1st down at the Tampa Bay 23. Just over 5 minutes left to play in the 1st half. 10-7. Bucs lead it. Sideline throw to Butch Johnson, and Johnson is out of bounds at the 10. That will be good for just about enough yardage for the 1st down.
Butch is isolated out there one-on-one on Mike Washington. Just going to throw a little 6-yard quick out. See him catch the ball. Now turn upfield. He's going to turn up and try to get the 1st down. There comes Mike Washington, number 40.
You know, at this point, I can't make up my mind if the Cowboys look like a 5-0 team or Tampa Bay looks like an 0-5 team. I'd say neither is the case, right?
Well, that's true. Very good observation.
2nd down, less than a yard for the 1st. Fisher marked it at the 14-yard line. Dorsett trying to get outside, bumped at the line of scrimmage. Cockney hit him first, number 33, and kind of jet propelled him to the outside and knocked him into a whole slew of orange shirts over there. John Holt, number 21, and in the stop, along with the former Cowboy Danny Spradlin, number 55, and one of the Buccaneers was shaken up on the play. Looks to be Ed Judy, who is newly acquired linebacker. They picked him up just this week.
Yes, and he's listed as the only backup outside linebacker right now. Tampa's doing a real good job of keeping Dorsett running parallel to the line of scrimmage and not letting him make that big cutback, Frank, and that's what they're preventing the long run that way.
Pat Donovan, word from the Cowboy bench, has a pulled groin muscle, uncertain as to whether or not he will return. 4:45 left in the first half of play. Coming up, doubleheader action on CBS next Sunday. First half of the twin bill from the Superdome, and the way these two teams are going, that should be a beauty.
Well, New Orleans has definitely proved they're a playoff caliber football team in the way they've been playing. You know San Francisco has been in the past, and they've been playing like one now. It'll be a heck of a football game.
These are other early regional games, depending on what part of the country you happen to be. And the key feature, the second half of the doubleheader, right here from Texas Stadium. The Philadelphia Eagles will take on the Dallas Cowboys. If we had 30 minutes, I'm sure you could wax eloquent about that. And the other
be intense, right?
Yes, and the other regional second half of the doubleheader, the Falcons and the Rams. Third down, Dallas needs 4 for the first down. From the 17 of Tampa Bay. Danny White got the rush on him. Springs. Should have enough for the first at about the 11-yard line. Mike Washington, number 40, on the stop.
I don't think Tampa can play as loose as they are down in these short situations. They have very little ground to defend. They've got to crowd these receivers a little bit more. They're giving him the first down. See, there wasn't anybody in that guy's hip pocket coming out of that backfield, Frank.
Well, with Pearson, Johnson, Cosby, you got to let somebody loose, I guess. In this case, it was Springs.
Well, they were in a nickel. They had enough people to cover him. Just got to cover him tighter, that's all.
First and 10 for the Cowboys with the nose of the ball just outside the 10-yard line of Tampa Bay. Dallas trying to reclaim the lead. Danny White looking over the field, over the middle. That is Billy Joe Dupree, and was he popped at the 1? And let's see if the ball was jarred loose. I think he hung on, but that will go down, I do believe, as the hit of the day.
Boy, I'll tell you, you have to respect the way those two linebackers, Jeff Davis, number 58, and Scott Brantley, number 52, hit people. Now watch 52. You're sitting right there looking at the play as he sees it. See him dropping into press coverage. He's watching the quarterback. Here comes the delay. Now watch him close. Here come 3 people, 4 people. Cedric Brown, number 34. But Billy Joe Dupree is experienced. He hangs on to that football. He probably expected to get tattooed.
Well, Billy Joe was just reminded once again why he intends to retire at the end of this year.
He had a great-looking hat on yesterday, didn't he?
Yes. Second down. Cowboys got 2 for the touchdown, 1 for the first. Springs trying to dive across and got it down inside the 1-yard line. Now, it looks from here like they can pick up a first down if they get it inside about the 2-foot line. And this looks like not a touchdown, obviously, but I think they may have enough for a first, and we're going to have an official timeout to measure. 2 minutes, 24 seconds left to play in the first half. Tampa Bay leading the Cowboys 10-7.
I think this is a first down. Dave Stalls is playing in there at left defensive end again. He likes to play against the Cowboys because he started his career with the Cowboys.
Cowboys traded into Tampa for 2 draft picks, one of which turned out to be Ron Fellows.
12 men on the field against the offense on the previous play.
That's kind of a delayed call. I didn't see the flags until late.
You'd think with 12 guys they would have scored.
That's a good point. You know, one of the reasons you saw the backup linebacker in there a moment ago, and he was hurt, Ed Judy, was that Hawkins has come out of the game with a knee injury. So Tampa Bay has got a severe case of the shorts today at the linebacker position.
Getting back to Dave Stalls, the former Cowboy playing in there at defensive left end. He might be about ready to retire too. He's just about ready to receive his veterinarian degree.
Well, he was a holdout this year. He wanted to be traded to Denver, close to his home.
20 men on the field. Offense. Second down.
Landry wants to make sure he's got 11 this time as he prepares to set in the next play.
Dick Nolan and Al Advance standing next to him. They're listening to the call.
Timmy Newsome, the tailback, coming in with the play from the bench. Penalty of 5 yards moves the ball back to the 7-yard line. It'll be second down upcoming. Cowboys still can make a first down if they get it inside the 1. That's the penalty situation.
Excuse me, Frank, but that really controls your offensive play calling when you know you can make a first down before you score down there.
Second and goal. Springs and Newsome, the setbacks. It is Timmy Newsome wrapped up at the 10-yard line. What a great play, Scott Brantley.
How many times have we already called his name, Frank?
Many.
Many times. Excuse me for
talking over you.
Brantley, number 52, 6'1", 230 from Florida. Cowboys were very interested in him. Had him checked out after he had that severe head injury his senior year. But it was the Buccaneers that spent the draft choice and spent it very wisely. We're down to the 2-minute warning. Timeout here at Texas Stadium with the Bucs leading the Cowboys 10-7.
Pontiac has created a car so new, so different.
Fiero.
It will fire your imagination like no other car ever built.
Fiero.
It's called Fiero. America's first mid-engine production car. The totally new Fiero. Only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
Cowboys, as we head back to play, will have a third down upcoming from the Tampa Bay 9. They need 8 for the touchdown, 9 for the score. And the huddle is with head coach Tom Landry over on the far sideline with Danny White to determine the play selection. White has put up some pretty good numbers here percentage-wise in the first half. He's hit 12 out of 15 for 165 yards and had 1 picked off. I'll do a little play calling here. We'll make you a coach for a play again. What would you call at this point?
Well, they're going to throw the football, but they're not going to throw anything that's high risk because they'll go ahead if they don't make the first down, kick the field goal, believing they can contain the Buck offense because the Buck offense hasn't been productive all year.
Well, the Buck defense has come firing out today, no question about that. From the 9, third down, shotgun. White over the middle and overthrown. There's a flag. Doug Cosby, the tight end, was the intended receiver, defended by John Holt, and Holt can't believe they're about to call pass interference on him. Delayed call.
It was a delayed call, and I really didn't see pass interference from here. Now, that official's in a better position than I am, and I'm sure he wouldn't have called it if it didn't exist. But I question it.
It's strange. When you were coaching, you were on the sidelines. I always in better position, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little different up here, Frank, believe me.
So that, of course, will carry with it an automatic first down at the 1-yard line.
Plus, what irritates you as a coach is the man that's responsible for making that call as an official didn't call it. The guy on the sideline called it.
Defensive pass interference. First down.
Let's take a look. Coming to our right now. The ball's in the air. He's going for it.
What do you think?
Well, they could say that he grabbed him and stopped him from getting as high as the ball was to catch it.
First and goal to go from the 1. Newsome and Springs the setbacks behind Danny White. Cosby in motion. But it is Newsome. Timmy Newsome over the right side for the easy yard. And the Cowboys recapture the lead at 13-10.
This is just a basic dive in there play. Timmy Newsome going to just reverse pivot and hand it off. Lineman pulling to influence. Timmy going in there, cracking the plane, scoring his first touchdown of the year.
That'll be a bit disheartening for Tampa Bay, and they thought they had him down there.
Right. You know, sometimes an official wouldn't call that interference if it did exist because the ball was not catchable.
Septien will try the extra point with 1:53 left in the half. It's been a battle. You thought this one would be lopsided. Kick is good. And the Cowboys lead the Bucs by a score of 14-10. Coming up next Saturday, starting with the NCAA today, we've got some great regional action for you. Headlined by the Texas Longhorns, who looked so impressive, beating Oklahoma yesterday, taking on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Also Virginia Tech at West Virginia. Or for those of you on the West Coast, you'll be seeing Oregon State take on California. It all starts with the NCAA today at 12 noon Eastern Time 3 p.m. Pacific Coast time. Interesting year in college football, isn't it? It's really wide open.
Well, there appears to be only one great football team, and that's Nebraska. And they had a struggle yesterday, but the West Coast doesn't have the obvious great team like they had with the, the USCs, and Penn State is, of course, won yesterday, but not like they have been. And you'd have to say that it's a down year in college football.
Well, this team a few miles down the road at Austin would like to think they're in the same class with Nebraska.
I think they're going to prove that as the year goes on, too, having played so well yesterday.
Septien will kick it off. And the deep men for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, once again, the little man, Michael Morton. And the great track man of days gone by, James Owens.
James has a 23-yard average coming out, so he can run it.
It will be Owens at the 1-yard line, out to the 10, 50. Buried at that point. Billy Bates, number 40. Ever-present member of the Cowboys special unit, is down there quickly, along with Jim Jeffcoat, number 77, the number 1 draft choice, and we got a marker. Bates is just unbelievable. He is one of the great kamikazes in the NFL. I have seen Tom Landry shower words of praise on him you don't normally hear.
Look at Bates here. Look at him come down there. Not ability, not coaching, desire to make the play. And really not a good block by number 69. But look at him, just keep coming. Look at him keep coming. There he goes, going to give it to him, along with Jim Jeffcoat, the number 1 draft choice from Arizona. But that is not coaching.
Number 87 on the return. First down.
Gerald Carter guilty of the foul on the return, the illegal block, so the Buccaneers have moved back to the 8. Bates, the Tennessee Terror, I guess you could call him. He played regular, and his previous claim to fame, they said, was in Herschel Walker's first game as a freshman. He ran all over Bates for Walker's first touchdown. He said Bates had Herschel's prints all over his chest, cleat marks. But he's a little football player. The Cowboys love it. First and 10 from the 8-yard line. Jack Thompson, 5 out of 9 for 109. Flag down. House makes the catch, then can't hold it. Well, we've got, I believe, a pass interference call against Dallas at about the 35, where House was bumped.
All they're going to get is, I think, is an illegal chuck, a 5-yard penalty. He's still, if they're going to win a football game, Kevin House has to make that catch. That's all there is to it. He's too good a receiver to drop that kind of football.
And you think Thompson's got to go downfield more?
Yeah, throw it downfield a little bit more. Challenge the man-to-man coverage. Challenge that man-to-man. Go ahead and take him on a little bit.
Of course, that's a Cowboy strong suit. Don't they play more man than just about anybody?
Number 24, defense. Automatic first down.
Everson Walls guilty of the penalty, but it's only a 5-yard walk-off. Other scores as we approach halftime of our game. Eagles lead the Giants by 1 at intermission. Rams and San Francisco have reached halftime with no score. Kansas City over the Raiders in the second period. Our score 14-10. Cowboys with a minute 41 left to play in the half. Thompson back to throw it. Wilder, 15-20. James Wilder across the 25 out to the 28 has the first down for the Buccaneers. Now both clubs have their timeouts, all 3 of them remaining, and we've got another marker. Hold everything. So there's a penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage. That will wipe out the game.
They're starting to play drop the hanky.
A lot of penalties here in the first half on both sides, which has slowed the proceedings down. Halftime, of course, just a few seconds away. Got all scores, highlights for you, and then part of the presentation, the induction of Roger Staubach to the Ring of Honor.
Interference, number 88, first down.
Jimmy Giles, Tampa Bay tight end, guilty of the offensive pass interference call. We said Giles was a holdout this year. He's done something rather interesting. I think he has managed to renegotiate his contract 4 of 6 years he's been in the league.
He's the guy you'd want to talk to. He's the only guy in the offensive team in the history of Tampa that's ever played the Pro Bowl.
First down, 16 for the Buccaneers, who are back at their 6-yard line. Still trying to get it cranked up offensively. It was Owens. Not by the first wave at the line of scrimmage, but was stopped short of the 10 by Bates. Number 40 is playing in there as a nickelback for the Cowboys. remaining in the first half amounts to 1 minute and 20 seconds. Tampa Bay at this point has rushed for 32 yards in the first half. 16 by Owens, 13 by Wilder. Cowboys call a timeout. Carver has 3 yards rushing, so that adds up to 32. And again, coming up at halftime, Brent Nerr back in New York with scores, highlights, interviews from some of the first games played in our doubleheader this afternoon, and then we'll be back here at Texas Stadium for part of the induction of Roger Staubach into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. He was visiting with us up here in the booth before the game, and he's really excited.
He is excited, and nobody deserves the honor. You know what he said to me? He was, I would just as soon see him putting Leroy Jordan in. Yeah, that shows you some class.
Well, he'd have made it sooner or later, and I'm sure Leroy's going to make it sooner or later as well. What about Staubach do you recall most of all in your career of competing against him?
Well, just when you thought you had a chance to beat him, he would find a way to come up with a big play. It might be 3rd and 3, and he'd run some kind of a keeper and come out there and beat you with a 15-yard run. Or you had him down, and all of a sudden he'd hit a post pattern deep for 6 points. Just when you thought you were taking control of the football game, he would beat you. Mel Renfro.
There's the Ring of Honor. There are 5 names there, all great players.
Don Meredith, Bob Lilly, coached against all those guys. Not Don Perkins.
That's a little before your time. No? And one to come, and that will be Roger Staubach, and his name will be unveiled at halftime. Back to action we go. Wilder across the 15 out to the 18-yard line. Not quite enough for the first down. Let's see if Buccaneers will call time here.
Frank, you asked earlier.
That'll be Dallas calling time, pardon me.
You asked earlier about Dallas's tendency to play man-to-man coverage. They do play more man-to-man coverage than anybody that we have played on our schedule in the last few years, and I think they're still playing that same scheme of things this year. They have the talent in that secondary, plus they have a good rush, so they can afford to go ahead and commit to that one-on-one type coverage.
Just remember, there are no more we's now that you're up here in the broadcast booth.
That's true.
We is what it used to be.
Yes, we is what it used to be.
Right? And I'm sure it'll be we from afar next week, perhaps, as the Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles. There's a timeout situation remaining. 1 minute and 12 seconds left to play in the first half, and the Bucs have played the Cowboys tough. They've been ahead twice in this game. Right now they're down 14-10, but certainly no one is counting Tampa Bay out. Tom Landry. Tom was 59 years of age on September 11th. Excellent physical shape. I look for him to stick around for several more years. Now had a street named after him in his hometown down in the valley in Mission, Texas. Tom Landry Street. I guess that's when you've really got it made, when someone names a street after you.
I guess so. Ron Springs has had the same thing in Williamsburg, Virginia.
And he hasn't been around nearly as long.
No, hasn't. He runs a little faster, though.
3rd down, 5. Buccaneers have the ball at their 18-yard line. Over 100 yards in penalty yardage on both sides in the first half here. Thompson, Randy White almost got to Thompson. He got the pass away, but he probably was just as well off dumping it. Owens made the reception for a loss of 4 or 5 yards on the play. And the Cowboys have 1 timeout left and are going to use it here to stop the clock with 59 seconds left in the half. So that will give them an opportunity to run the punt back, and they should wind up with good field position and maybe have a shot at a field goal. Again, a reminder about what we have coming up for you next week on CBS. The rejuvenated San Francisco 49ers beginning to look now like the Super Bowl team of 2 years ago. Take on the New Orleans Saints in a key NFC Western Division battle. That'll be the opening game of the doubleheader for most of you. Others will see Chicago and Detroit or St. Louis and Tampa Bay. And then the second half of the twin bill highlighted by the matchup between the Eagles and the Cowboys. That was originally supposed to be at Veterans Stadium, but because of the Phillies being in the World Series, it's been moved to Texas Stadium, and they'll play in Philadelphia later on the date that the Eagles were supposed to be in town originally. That make any sense?
Yes, it does.
All right.
It does. And I really don't think Philadelphia is really excited about it, because then that puts them on the road 3 weeks in a row.
The Eagles and the Giants got a tough battle going this afternoon. We'll keep you up to date on that. Bring you up to date at halftime. Garcia to punt, 2 yards deep in the end zone. 4th and 10 for the Buccaneers at their 13-yard line. Cowboys have 3 men back on the return. They're playing return all the way. Great punt. Rod Hill at the 33, 35, 40. Hill still on his feet at the 45. And dropped finally at the 49. That's a fine run back and pretty good hang time.
4-6 hang time. That punt should be covered better than that. But I tell you what I have noticed in this young man returning punts, fellows, is gaining confidence. And he is by far a much better punt returner today than he was in the league opener.
He was the Cowboys' #1 draft choice a year ago and somewhat of a disappointment last year. But Tom Landry called him one of the most improved players in training camp this year. 53 on the punt by Garcia, so he gets A+ in that department. 44 seconds left to play in the half. Now the Cowboys, keep in mind, are out of timeouts. They have a first down at their 49. They've got Doug Donnelly into the wide receiver to the left. Pearson is in, so is Johnson. Danny White to throw it. Over the middle, picked off. Cedric Brown at the 50, 45, 40, out of bounds near the 25. How things turn around.
He was sitting back there playing free safety, just eyeballing Danny White, watching Danny's eyes, and when Danny let it go, he jumped the football.
Boy, did he make an aggressive move for the ball. He was playing ball all the way, was Brown.
Cedric Brown. Danny's back here. He's going to take the snap, drop back. Now look at him. He's looking to his left. He's eyeballing there. Now he looks back to his right and throws it down the middle late. There comes Cedric, sitting back there just watching what Dan was doing. Now we're going to pick up some good blocks. There's a nice block being laid right there. You need that kind of help to get into field goal range right now. They knock him out of bounds.
And the Buck defense comes off the field, probably nudging the offense and saying, how about it, guys? Your turn. Bill Capice, the field goal kicker for the Buccaneers, warming up just in case he gets an opportunity. Bucks are in excellent position. They've got 34 seconds, but they've got all of their timeouts. And they're at the Dallas 25. Jack Thompson, sideline throw, completes it to Wilder at the 20 for a pickup of 5. And that stops the clock with 28 seconds left.
Come on, Watson!
He tried to get the ball downfield, but they were in nickel defense, and they had most people except the flanker back double covered. Everybody 2-on-1, so he took the man that was singled up and threw it to James Wilder.
Thompson is 7 out of 11 here in the first half, throwing the football. He's had 1 picked off for a total of 109 yards. It'll be second down 6. Officials have it spotted at the 21-yard line of the Cowboys. 28 seconds left in the half. And Tampa Bay has the timeout it needs. Blitz. Dennis Thurman, number 32. The first man to reach him. Coming through from the left side and dropping Thompson for the loss back near the 28-yard line. Loss of 7 on the play.
You know, I was sitting up here, and it's so easy to think up here on your feet under no pressure at all, but I really thought they were going to come with a safety blitz. They had trouble with it before. See, they didn't get him picked up. One too many guys. He's got to get rid of the ball in that safety blitz situation. Now, I don't know what the scheme of things in terms of the design of the offense is, but they've got to give him an outlet.
This time it's the Tampa Bay Bucks who called timeout to stop the clock.
There's 2 fine defensive football coaches. Ernie Stotner, Gene Stallings. I really think Gene Stallings will be a head coach in the National Football League here in a year or 2. I really do. He's been a fine head coach in college football, Texas A&M, and been here and learned more. I bet he ends up as a head coach.
Well, he's had opportunities, I know, in the new league and turned them down. And there has been talk that eventually, when Tom Landry retires, he could be the heir apparent among those around the staff.
Well, he'd be a good one. The throwing Samoan.
He got that nickname as a senior in college when his team played at the University of Wisconsin, and the headline showed up one day, and they liked it so much they just continued to use it, and it's followed him all the way into the pros.
I coached a couple of his cousins at UCLA. Manu Tuya Sasopo, Terry Tatalo. Great people to coach. Good athletes, good people. Both making a living in the National Football League right now, though I think Terry's out of the league right now.
All right, back to play we go. Third down upcoming for the Buccaneers. Ball is at the Dallas 29-yard line. 25 seconds left to play in the half. Bucs still have a couple of timeouts to play with. 3 wide receivers. Again, the blitz. Thompson this time dumps it quickly, but had to dump it too quickly as Bates blew through there, and so did Randy White. A lot of pressure on the young Tampa Bay quarterback.
At least they picked him up this time, but the ball was tipped, and I didn't see who tipped the ball. Now, you can see Bates, number 40. He's going to stunt coming up in the middle there. Now, watch. Randy White, number 54. Look at him coming, just like a tractor. He tipped the ball right there. Randy White likes to hunt, and that time he was hunting a quarterback.
DePiece will come on to kick the field goal, or try to. He's got one to his credit from 47 yards. Gives him 4 out of 8 on the year. And all of his misses have been in excess of 47 yards.
You know, Capice was a criminology major. He'd know it. He'd have to know it's a crime to miss it.
This is from 47. He's got enough leg behind it, and it is no good. He hooked it. So that runs the clock down to 17 seconds, and the Buccaneers waste a golden opportunity given them by the defense and Cedric Brown in the pass interception. They had the first down at the 25 of the Cowboys, and they wind up missing the field goal from 47 away.
He kicks it off to his left. He's going to hook it right there. Now follow the ball. Follow the ball. See the goalpost to your right. See it sticking up there 18 feet high. There it is. He just misses it.
So Dallas will take over and run out the clock, I'm sure, at this point, with 17 seconds left, and probably very happy to go to the locker room with a 4-point lead.
Well, he isn't going to throw it late down the middle.
You'd never know. Newsome to about the 30-yard line, and that should do it for the half. Coming up at halftime, scores, highlights, interviews with Brent Nerve and Roger Staubach's introduction into the Cowboys' Ring of Honor at the end of the first half of play here at Texas Stadium. It's the Dallas Cowboys 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10.
National Football League is sponsored by Pontiac, cars that tell the world you're not just along for the ride. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by K-Care, where quality automotive parts and service are Kmart priced.
ATC. 8 different models for more fun in the snow than you've ever dreamed of. Ride it all winter long. And when the snow is gone, keep on riding.
Nice to see you again. Nice to be back.
Come to a Sheraton show place.
Sheraton, you've got taste.
You're gonna love every inch of the place. We've got taste. Taste the Sheraton show place style.
Taste Sheraton style worldwide on your next business trip. Call 800-325-3535.
We've got taste. We've got taste. We've got taste.
Sheraton, your style makes the difference.
Fall means football, and CBS Sports brings it to you like no one else can. Saturdays, you get the full story on game day in college football from the NCAA today. Then some of the nation's top teams square off in national and regional telecasts. Sundays, it's the pros' turn. Your viewing day kicks off with Brent Musburger and company on the NFL Today, followed by exciting National Football League action. Brought to you by a broadcast and production team whose talents are unsurpassed. For the best in football, CBS Sports.
Eric Dickerson has just gone in for the Rams, and they have just taken a lead on the 49ers. Here are all the scores. We had our 9th overtime game of the season, and Buffalo, with a minute to go, pulled it out on Miami, 38-35. What a duel between quarterbacks Joe Ferguson and young Danny Marino. Ferguson for the Bills was 38 of 55 for 419 yards and 5 touchdowns. That was his personal best. Danny Marino, 2 interceptions in the first half. Then he came back 16 of 26 for 277 yards and 3 touchdowns, including that one to Mark Duper. And Duper was not done. They were respecting Marino. They came up to press on the handoff to Cotney, and he came up throwing a beautifully disguised option pass by the wide receiver, and Duper got in from 49 yards out. But then with time running out, Ferguson drove the Bills down inside the 5. He hit Joe Cribbs for his 5th touchdown. Von Schaman misses twice in overtime. And with his only chance, Joe Dinello kicks a 36-yarder, and now Buffalo and Baltimore are tied for first in the AFC East. Both have records of 4-2. Philadelphia and the Giants. And Irv's Eagles have just gone in again. 14-6. And Irv, you got a wide receiver by the name of Mike Quick. He's becoming something.
Mike Quick is finally coming to his own, Brent. Here's one pass from Jaworski. That wasn't a 5-yard reception. That was about a 20-yard reception. Just caught a few seconds ago.
Absolutely. The first one was 5 yards, and he'll be able to beat the Dallas Cowboys in their rematch, right? Isn't that what you told me?
I think so. He handle anybody one-on-one.
All right. Other game. Here's a bit of a surprise. The Seattle Seahawks are all over the San Diego Chargers. You're wondering about Danny Fouts. Yes, he did play. He was ineffective. Ed Luther has thrown their only touchdown pass late in the second quarter of that game. Young Kurt Warner out of Penn State has scored twice for the Seahawks in that game. The Rams and the 49ers. We just told you the Rams had finally scored 7-0. The rookie Eric Dickerson off to a... Wait a minute. Don't they like the Rams in San Francisco? I guess not, Irv. It has been a game of turnovers until the Dickerson touchdown. Vince Ferragamo aired one out here. That was picked off by Tim Collier. And, of course, the 49er defense had turned the game around. But then Eric Dickerson slashing to the outside. He's got that beautiful delayed move that Tony Dorsett of the Cowboys has got. You're not too sure on defense which way to go. He freezes you momentarily. That allowed him to get into the end zone. 7-0 now Rams over the 49ers. Here is perhaps the biggest upset of the day. The Chiefs over the Raiders at the half. 17-7 is the count. And, of course, the game you're watching, and you just knew the Cowboys were coming from behind as soon as they fell behind the Buccaneers. And we will continue here on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Tonight on Alice, Vera finds love letters in her cupcakes, and only Mel knows from whom. And on One Day at a Time, who will be Mark's first patient?
You don't.
Then it's the thrilling conclusion of the Jeffersons' Mission Incredible.
Now just let us finish blowing up the world, and I promise I'll be right home.
And will her fear of heights keep Jenny from reporting a sniper?
You're going to cover the story from there? It'd be a new angle.
Then can Trapper and Gonzo put a lady cop back on the beat?
Will I lose my leg?
Not if I can help it. All tonight.
This is CBS.
The Saints in the playoffs could be. Their record now is 4-2. They came from behind because of an Atlanta mistake. 19-17 was the final score. Bum Phillips was in trouble after this touchdown right here. William Andrews pounding in, and now the Falcons go up by a point. They want a squib kick. Luckhurst hits it too hard. That's the man that didn't want to handle it. Duckett. He turns it upfield for 40 yards. He's one of the most dangerous return men in the league right now. And then it was the Snake getting him in field goal position, and Morton Anderson nailed this one. And the Saints beat the Falcons 19-17. Atlanta's record now slips to 2-4 as the result of Anderson's field goal. Denver and Houston. Denver switches to Steve DeBerg. He throws 2 touchdown passes, and now the Oilers are 0-6 on the season. They lose at 26-14. Green Bay and Detroit. Will the real Packers please show up? You never know from week to week. They got 55 on the Buccaneers last Sunday. They couldn't stop James Jones, the rookie out of Florida today. He got 3 touchdowns for him, and the final was 38-14. The Lions were all over the Packers. Irv's going to tell you about Minnesota and Chicago because the Vikes put on another impressive show, and the Bears, I don't know, they're wasting a lot of talent in the Windy City.
Well, it could probably be, but the Minnesota Vikings showed a very impressive running game today. In the first offensive series, Steve Dills hands off to Darren Nelson, and he rips around his right end for a 56-yard touchdown run, and that set the tempo of the game early, Brent, because the Vikings came in saying, we're going to jam the ball down your throat, because in the third quarter, look what happens this time. Tony Galbraith off his right guard, a 52-yard scamper right up the middle for another Minnesota touchdown, and the Vikings took a 27 lead. Jim McMahon, the young quarterback from Chicago Bears, is knocked out of the ball game. Vince Evans came in to replace him and hands the ball off here to you-know-who, number 34, Walter Payton, who scampers in from the 9-yard line, but it's too late, too little, Brent. The Bears go down 23-14.
And as a result of the Viking win and the Packer loss, the Vikes now go to first in the NFC Central with a record of 4-2. The Bears on the season are 2-4. The Jets and Cleveland. The Jets managed to tie it with about a minute to play, and then the Browns came right back and kicked the winning field goal. Richard Todd finally got the Jets on the board with this pass to Harper. And then Brian Sipe took over. He got Matt Barr to within 44 yards of a winning field goal. It was right on, and the Browns go to 4-2 on the season, and the Jets now are 3-3, and that is a very disappointing mark for the Jets, who figured to be headed for a possible Super Bowl game. New England and Baltimore, and the Colts, they're now 4-2 with a 12-7 victory over the Patriots. And now the beloved Washington Redskins down in Dallas. Well, the Redskins win again, 38-14, and I know how much Cowboy fans want to hear from Joe Theismann. So Joe was asked after the game, compare this Washington team with a year ago.
Well, I think this football team is a little bit different than last year's football team in so much that we started last year with Art Monk. This year we started without him and have picked him up. And, of course, we lost Joe Washington going on into the playoffs last year, and this year we have him. I think, oddly enough, offensively, this football team is probably stronger than it was at this particular juncture last year. Having John in our backfield is definitely an invaluable asset. He has the ability to bounce one outside, which you saw in the one touchdown, but yet he has the durability to meet safeties head-on on the inside and gain 4 or 5 extra yards. To try and replace John or just try to place a value on him is really difficult because he is the most important offensive weapon that we possess, because from him derives everything else.
And as a result, now the Redskins' record is 5-1. And you know, Irv, there was a quarterback down in Dallas. Time never ran out on him, I'll tell you that. Roger Staubach could use the clock better than anybody. He's being inducted into the Ring of Honor down there at halftime. So let's go down now and join the ceremonies at Texas Stadium.
Taking place on the field right now is the Ring of Honor ceremony inducting Roger Staubach.
Thank you very much. The acoustics are such here at Texas Stadium that you can't hear the other speakers, but I do know that Mel Renfro had a prepared speech written out. It's always nice to be back here in Texas Stadium. I did not play here, but it's nice to be back here as a visitor. Having grown up in Iowa, matriculated to the state of New Mexico, I never had the wildest fantasy that one day I would be playing for America's team. Those of you that were around in the early 60s, though, not many people thought of the Dallas Cowboys as America's team. Actually, we didn't show up to win ball games. We just showed up to see if we could kind of keep it close. But I guess things do change, and they certainly have changed for the Dallas Cowboys. To our new inductee, I'd like to wish him the best of success in his future. He certainly had a great success as an athlete. I wish I had been fortunate enough to play with him. And I hope that to Roger it proves as meaningful in years to come as it has been to Don Perkins. Thank you for hearing me out and being here this afternoon.
Thank you, Perk. Finally, let me introduce a man who was honored 7 times as an All-Pro and, like Mel Renfro, made 10 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances. He is a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame at Canton, Ohio, the original charter member of the Ring of Honor. In 1975, one of the greatest defensive tackles ever, Bob Lilly.
Thank you very much. This is a tremendous honor for me, being the charter member of this circle of honorees, to be able to introduce a man that is my hero today. I really don't really have the words to describe this gentleman, but he is what I always grew up thinking that an American was. Tremendous competitor, tremendous father, tremendous person among the people of his community, and was a tremendous football player. I just am very happy to be standing here today to introduce this gentleman to the Ring of Honor. Right now we have the 1983 Dallas Cowboys out here to honor It is my great pleasure to introduce the 1983 inductee to the Ring of Honor, my friend Roger Staubach.
something for you to remember. Thank you.
Thanks, Tex. It's a real privilege to be honored, introduced by Mr. Cowboy and a friend and former teammate Bob Lilly. You know, they said this moment was going to be tough. You know, Don and Mel and Bob and Chuck said it was going to be really rough, and I didn't think it would be, but I'm afraid it's going to be a bit tough. But I, look up there, and Don Meredith started the winning tradition in '66. It's gone on for 17 years, and I'm really proud to be part of it. And you guys over here that volunteered to come out for this ceremony, those white jerseys, you continue, and I know we as old veterans are proud of your season so far, and you continue to dedicate yourself each and every week. A few months we're going to be back here playing the NFC Championship game in Texas Stadium, and then it's on to Tampa. And you're going to be the first team. You're going to be the first team that's been in the Super Bowl that has an entirely different roster from a former Cowboy football team. You got the same coach, and he's the best that's ever coached in the National Football League. I thank him. I thank the Cowboy organization. I thank all my teammates that make me look good. And I especially thank you in the stands for your undying support for the 11 years where I played football here in Dallas, Texas. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It's a cherished moment for myself, Marianne, and Jennifer, Michelle, Stephanie, Jeff, and Amy. And that's the end. There's a lot of unspectacular preparation that produces spectacular results. And all the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into football really make this moment very spectacular. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
At this time, there is no better way to conclude this ceremony than by introducing the man who coached not only Roger Staubach, but the other 5 members of the Cowboys Ring of Honor, the only head coach that the Dallas Cowboys have ever needed, Tom Landry. Thank you. Speaking in behalf of the 1983 players, coaches, and staff, we want to also congratulate Roger for being inducted in the Ring of Honor. As you look up here and you see the Mel Renfros, the Chuck Howarys, Don Meredith, Bob Lilly, and Don Perkins, it wouldn't be complete without Roger Staubach up there. And it's a great, great thing. Many of the players who are out here in front today, and many of the coaches that are here, enjoyed being associated with Roger in his career. We remember the great memories that he created at quarterback, and all you remember it also, and it's a great thrill. Of course, coaches don't have too many real blessings, I guess, in our profession, but one of the blessings is when we are able to coach a player of Roger Staubach's ability. That's something special. And for me personally, the thing that has meant so much to me is have the privilege of coaching a player like Roger Staubach, who has the character and the integrity, the moral values that Roger has, which is a great, great example for our kids. And finally, I would say only this, that all the Dallas Cowboys players and coaches that have been associated with Roger are better people because Roger came our way. Thank you, Roger.
22,700 yards passing, 1,685 passes complete, 153 touchdowns. The all-time NFL high quarterback rating of 83.5, Roger Staubach. Emotional experience both for the fans and for Roger Staubach and the Cowboy players as well, as Roger takes his turn around the oval here at Texas Stadium, the newest member of the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Both teams back in the field will be ready with the start of the second half in just a moment.
Did you know that science has developed a new telephone cable fiber as thin as a human hair? It's made out of glass, and it transmits your voice with light impulses. The big benefit being that the new telephone cables are only 1/16 the size of the old ones. So in the same amount of space, we can now handle thousands more calls.
G.
No, GTE.
Digital readouts, onboard computer diagnostics, advanced electronics developed by General Motors for the 747. Now many of the same engineers are building the same technology into new GM cars and trucks. So you and your car can drive smarter.